we're at the level of still trying to figure out these hieroglyphics and what do they represent and being accurate with that. So,
Brother, are you familiar with Recti Amen?
Just a little bit.
So you know she has a PhD in hieroglyphics, right?
Yeah. What school did she go to?
I don't know, but
PhD.
yeah, I don't know, but probably the information might be on her website. But if you contact her, you can ask her. Now, I trust that she does have her PhD, but she's been teaching Medu for about 20 years. And her website for everybody listening is medunetter.com. So the Medu has been deciphered. I mean, we know what it means. It's not even an issue.
Where the complexities come with Medu is with meaning.
So the Medu has been deciphered. I mean, we know what it means. It's not even an issue.
Where the complexities come with Medu is with meaning, semantic. And that is what is the meaning of all of the pictures? What is the depth of meaning of all of the pictures? And one of the biggest problems with understanding Medu is from what language you're speaking. And most of us who are raising this point at the moment speak English. And English has got to be one of the worst languages to try to translate Medu into or from, because in other words, the reader, the translator, really is coming upon the study of Medu from their language perspective, and each language expresses a specific culture and a specific worldview. So when we try to understand Medu words, and all we have is English words and English thought concepts with which to try to understand Medu we fall very short, especially with culturally significant words. Everyday words like with, but, in, on prepositions, in, on, under, above, those kind of words, those are just words that don't really express a great depth of meaning in any language, but other words are more culturally significant, and by the way, ma'at is one of those words. That's why I was saying earlier that you cannot really just give an English one or two word English definition of ma'at, because no English word can really define it. However, luckily, Medu was a pictorial language, and we have the pictures. And what I do in my classes, and many people who read Medu do, is we rely mainly on the pictures, and we look at the pictures and try to understand the depth of meaning from the pictures themselves. That's why it was a pictorial language in the first place. So people, we can read Medu, we can understand what we read, we can speak Medu, all of that, and we know the grammar. It's very well known. We have no doubt about the grammar at all, but the fuzzy area in understanding the language is the depth of meaning of many of the words. And in my Medu classes, we really always explore the depth of meaning, or the possible meanings of the words and the phrases that we're reading. We never just take definitions from the Egyptological dictionaries and just take them at face value. We never do that. Never.
Okay.
So the Medu has been deciphered. I mean, we know what it means. It's not even an issue. Nobody's arguing Hebrew, but everybody want to argue the Medu.
I just want to understand. I'm just trying to understand what you're saying now. Is that for the bird symbol, the symbol of the owl, you're saying that when we see this symbol, it represents the sound of the letter M?
I'm saying it has a phonetic value. Now, what it represents, this I cannot explain, because I wasn't there when it was made in the first place.
So K, M, and T, are you saying Are you saying, based on the stuff that you've looked at, that crocodile skin for the K, a bird for the M, and a half of a circle, it represents those three symbols represent KMT. I'm just asking that.
When you say represent. Brother, let me answer your question. These are phonetic values. Now, what they represent, I don't know. Why is it M for all? I don't know. You have to go back 3,000 years ago and ask them. Same thing, even if we don't know what the glyph, the all, which stands for the phonetic value M, even if we don't know what it represents, we know the phonetic value. This is the same thing. Don't you agree?
Okay, well, that's a good example, because how can we then explain what the hieroglyphics are saying, or what they're explaining then? If we don't know what these symbols actually represent, how can they be deciphered as far as understanding what they mean?
All represents an all. Now, the phonetic value is M. Now, why the phonetic value is M for all, that I don't know, and I don't think anybody will know, just like we don't know why the A, what we call the sound A in French, or A in English, why is that symbol that we call A, that was alpha in Greek, if I'm not mistaken, like B was beta for Greek, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, I've just listened to a video from Theophilo Benga, who is a linguist, and he said that this is not even Greek, this is coming from the Phoenician, you know, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, to make the long story...
That's a good example. You're giving an example that that's why I'm asking these questions, is that when we look at Budge's Book of the Dead, he will have a string of symbols, okay? And if he has a string of 5 or 6 symbols, okay, and if you're saying that each symbol has a phonetic value, and then you can string a word, that word that you come up with, how are you saying that word represents the idea of what those string of symbols were actually communicating?
Because we speak English with symbols that derive from the Greek, that most likely derive from the Phoenician. We don't know why they came up with those signs for the Phoenician and the Greek, but we know what it stands for, and we speak English. It's the same reason.
So, with that, can we explain what the hieroglyphics mean? Can we, when we see an owl, when we see a half of a circle, when we see a shape of an eye sitting on top of a throne, when we go through the whole line of a Medu, when we go through a whole line, are we in a position to say what that line means?
Yes, we are. We are, brother.
You just contradicted yourself.
Hotep, Introduction to Kemet, the missing link in Black history. I am Shaka Ndugu Kemet. My goal is for you to learn and understand some information that you probably never came across before. For this reason, the beginning is going to be somehow meticulous because it's necessary. We are dealing with thousands of years of knowledge. We are going to deal with primary sources, originals. There's going to be name, dates, and places. So let's get right into it. Pert M. Heru, commonly known as the Book of the Dead. It's a papyrus that's 3,000 years old, kept at the British Museum, number 10470. It's a compilation of spells and things to get you through the afterlife. It has to do with spirituality.
And do you have any other question or any statement to make?
Well, I can add in, also in the Book of the Dead, they speak about the afterlife.
Yes.
Okay, and they, really deal a lot with the afterlife. Is that, do you co-sign on that also? Is that what our ancestors, when they were talking about the place, the Netta Kurt, or the Field of Reeds, or the Field of Peace, that they were talking about a place that you would go after you become deceased?
This I don't know nothing about. I don't know nothing about the afterlife.
No, I'm saying what is written. The whole Egyptian Book of the Dead deals with preparing yourself for the actual afterlife. So
well, people say that, yes, but there's different. One thing, it's the opportunity for me to say once again, there's not just one Book of the Dead. The most famous one is the Papyrus of Ani, currently in the British Museum, but there's others such as the Pert M. Heru of Hunefer, for example, that I showed in the same presentation that we are dealing with Kemet and Ma'at on YouTube. So they're not exactly the same. They have different spells or different writings. But then again, they did write about what we could consider the afterlife and preparing themselves for the afterlife. But these are things that I cannot speak on because I have not reached the afterlife. I have not been trained to prepare myself to go to the afterlife. So it will deal with something that people might call metaphysics.
He had a question about metaphysics.
Yes.
And that was something I was always interested in. And sorry if I'm breaking up because I'm walking.
It's okay. I can hear you well.
Okay, I didn't hear your answer about metaphysics, so that was the only question that I had was, what was your, he asked me something about, do you believe in metaphysics or something like that, so I was on my way to the bookstore,
yes.
And I just wanted to hear what was your response.
Okay, I told him, and it's true, it was yesterday, and I remember a bit of the conversation. So I told him that, as far as I'm concerned personally, that's BS. That metaphysics is BS, you know.
That the writings of Kemet are to be taken literal, or that they're symbolic.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
That metaphysics is BS, you know. That metaphysics is BS, you know.
All right.
I mean, you know, the Medu is beautiful. I mean, it is beautiful. It's not that complicated.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of knowing the people.
It seems like it is. I mean,
yes,
but like you said, but how many glyphs are there actually?
Well, like I was reading from that same book, that PhD Claude Obzomer, once again is quoted in the book, the Oxford History of Ancient Egypt. He says there's about 800. Amazingly, Rekti Amen, she mentions that there's like 5,000.
Okay. Well, here's the main thing, because this is the part where I don't see where we differ at. You know, if we just look at where do we kind of see the same thing. And I think there was a few things that you said that I said, well, yeah, I agree with you. The main thing you said is that the meaning of an actual hieroglyph, the actual meaning of a hieroglyph, you said that you don't know what it means. You don't know what the meaning is. You know what the sound might be, but as far as the meaning of the hieroglyph, you don't know.
Well, hold on. It depends which one. The Ankh, it means life. It stands for life. So I do know the meaning. Now, others, indeed, I do not know, but feel free to add on.
Okay. You said that one of the books that you read, they talk about there's over 400 hieroglyphs. You said that you know some of them. How many of the 400 would you safely say you know the actual meaning of the actual hieroglyph of that 400 that the scholars say exists?
Yeah, it's actually 800.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you an exact figure. I don't know if I was to guess. If you want to hear a guess, maybe 100, maybe more. I don't know. To be honest,
okay.
It's like I cannot give you an exact. Yes, feel free. Feel free.
I'm not talking about the sound.
Yes, I understand what you mean.
I'm talking about what the actual meaning of the glyph is. Okay. Now, if you can safely say you know 100 symbols, and you know what they actually mean. Okay. The last thing I heard on the phone with Mr. Carbon Base, he had asked you how many. You all were speaking about it, and you mentioned how many glyphs Dr. Rekti Amen said there existed. She said, what 5,000?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So here's the thing, is that our ancestors had 5,000 symbols. Okay.
Oh, hold on. I would like to stop you now and then let you carry